Hi, my name is Juniper Rose, and welcome back to another episode of Witchy Wonders. Today we will be talking all about the tools of the craft, mostly what they are, how to use them, how to consecrate our tools, and also some commonly asked questions about magical tools. So just sit back, relax, grab your coffee or your tea, and let's get started. But first, today I have tea. What? Yeah, I know. I have tea today. It's so out of character for me, but we were out of coffee. It's okay, I still really love tea. Okay, so let's just jump straight into the episode. So first of all, what exactly are magical tools and how do we use them? So magical tools are essentially used in our craft as an extension of ourselves to direct our energy. These tools in and of themselves do not contain magic. They're more like a focus point for us witches to direct our magic towards. These tools do not have magic in and of themselves. Without a witch directing their focus and energy and intent through the tools, they don't have any magic in them. This is a common misconception that you'll hear about a lot, especially dramatized in Hollywood. Common tools that you will find on a witch's altar would be an Athame, a wand, a cauldron, a chalice, a besom, a pentacle, and of course your book of shadows. I did briefly go over what a book of shadows is in my first Witchy Wonders episode, which was Myths About Witches, and so if you missed that, I'll leave a card up here and you can go check that out. So I will just go over briefly a little bit about what these tools are and how they are used in the craft, just so that you can kind of get an idea of what they are. So an Athame is basically a dagger or a small knife that is used for cutting energy or the air, if you will, and it is most commonly used for casting circles. So this right here is my Athame that I use, and I do prefer to use this tool when casting my circles. I feel like it works the best for me personally. Again, this is something that is totally up to the practitioner. If you choose to use your fingers to cast a circle, or you can use a wand or another tool, that is entirely up to you and what you feel is right for your practice. The Athame is also a symbol of male energies and male deities. So a wand is typically made out of a tree branch, or you can also use a crystal wand. Wands are mainly used for focusing your energy and your intent during ritual or spell work. And a crystal wand is typically used more for healing purposes, so you will see a crystal wand used very commonly for things such as Reiki healing or Reiki work, and also chakra work. The wand also does represent male energies and male deities, and most witches prefer also to make their own wand, as it is something that is highly personalized, and by putting your own focus and your intent into your wand, a lot of witches feel like it's more powerful and it works better for them. So for me, this is my wand that I use. I made it out of a rose branch. So for the end of my wand, or the handle over here, I just have a piece of clear quartz. I have wrapped my entire crystal in some copper wire. It is painted over, of course. And then here at the tip, I have a piece of Lemurian quartz. It's pink Lemurian quartz to be specific. I absolutely love my wand, and I really loved the process of making it. So again, it's up to the witch. You can choose to make your wand, or you can purchase it. Completely up to you. There's no right or wrong way to go about that. So the next tool of the craft is called a cauldron. And the cauldron is essentially a fire-safe bowl that is used for burning parchments during spell work. You can also use your cauldron for burning loose incense and for creating potions. The cauldron represents female energy, or some people like to refer to the cauldron as a symbol of the woman's womb, which is the giver of life. For me personally, I just have this old candle container that I use for my cauldron. It's just made out of ceramic, but it works just fine for me. It is fire safe, and I think it's cute and unique. The next item is a chalice. A chalice is a goblet or a glass that is typically used for making offerings to any deities that you work with, guardians, guides, mythical creatures, so on and so forth. You can also use your chalice in ritual work. It's typically what you will use to hold your wine for the cakes and ale portion of your ritual. Now, please don't make fun of me, but I found most of my tools lying around the house when I started my practice. So I use this cute tiny little teacup for my chalice. I mostly use it just to make offerings to my guardians and guides and any mythical creatures that I decide to work with. When I do ritual work, I typically will use just a glass goblet that I will consecrate just for that ritual. But as of yet, I have not purchased a chalice to use. My teacup works just fine, thank you very much. The next item is a besom or a witch's broom. A besom is typically used to just sweep out any bad energy and is often, at least in my case, used in conjunction with burning sage or Palo Santo wood. It just sweeps out all of the negative and stale energies. And so you can choose to actually make a broom with a long handle to sweep the floor, if you will, or you can make a smaller one in essence to sweep the air. So for me, I made mine out of just a bunch of feathers. It's not typical, but then again, I'm an eclectic witch and I feel that this is what works best for me. And so when I'm saging my home, I will just use this little besom to sweep around the sage and to clear out any bad or negative energies. The pentacle is next on the list for items to have at your altar. The pentacle represents the 5 different elements and it offers protection for your space. So you can either purchase a pentacle that is made out of metal, or you can go and gather some wood branches and some string and make your own. I actually have yet to make my own pentacle. I do plan on doing that here soon. So for the time being, I've actually been using my pentacle necklace. I'll just place that at the center of my altar to use. Again, it's something that's completely up to the practitioner. And the last item for tools of the craft is your Book of Shadows. Your Book of Shadows is probably going to be the most important tool of your craft. Your Book of Shadows is essentially where you keep record of your practice. And so you can write down any personalized journal entries in correlation to meditations or dreams or any experiences that you've had, as well as placing any useful information that pertains to you and your craft. As mentioned before in my first episode of Witchy Wonders, you can commonly find things in your Book of Shadows, or you can create your Book of Shadows to have information about sabbats, mythical creatures, herbs, crystals, your own personal code of conduct, or the Wiccan read if you are Wiccan. You can also document things like astrology and the moon phases. The possibilities are really endless, and you just document what you feel pertains to your craft in your Book of Shadows. Your Book of Shadows is something that you will go back to and refer time and time again, and so you can craft it however you want. So once you have all of your tools, you are ready to consecrate them for use in your magical practice. You do want to consecrate your tools because you can infuse them with your own intent and energies so that the tools will work better for you personally. There are lots of ways to consecrate your tools. The most common way is through use of the elements. And so typically what I do to consecrate my tools is I'll get a bowl of salt water, and that will represent earth and water, and then I will either light some incense or candles, and that will represent air and fire. So for example, you will sprinkle your tool with the salt water and then say something to the effect of, by the power of water and earth, I consecrate this tool for my magical practices. And then you can pass it through your incense or your candle smoke and essentially say the same thing, by the power of air and fire, I consecrate this tool for magical purposes. Again, Again, this is completely up to you. There's so many different ways that you can consecrate your tools, so it's just a matter of finding what feels most comfortable for you, if that makes any sense. So some frequently asked questions about magical tools is, number one, do I have to have tools in order to practice and be considered a witch? The answer to that is absolutely not. You do not need any of these tools to be considered a witch or even to do your spell work with. What matters the most when you are casting a spell or doing a ritual is your own personal intent and energy. A lot of witches who still practice in the broom closet and do not have access to many of these tools will practice in this way. Question number 2. Can I use everyday objects as magical tools? The answer to this is yes, of course you can. I actually have gotten most of my magical tools from everyday objects that I already had and then consecrated them. So it's entirely up to you, but yes. Yes, you can. Question number 3. Do I have to have all of the tools that are recommended for my practice? The answer to that is no. Some witches prefer to not use particular tools because they feel it won't work for their practice or it doesn't necessarily fit in. So it is entirely up to you. If you don't have a chalice, for example, that's totally fine. And the last question is, do tools have magic? The answer to this, unfortunately, is no. Tools are mostly just used to direct your own energy and your own focus and intent, as I stated before. Yes, you can infuse your tools with your own intent and energy so that you can connect with your tool personally, but without your energy and intents behind it, your tool does not have magic in and of itself. Well guys, that is all that I have for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. And in my last video, I stated that I have a goal of reaching 100 subscribers by the end of November. And guys, the response I have gotten from you blew my mind. I am already at 92 subscribers, so I'm only 8 subscribers away from hitting my goal. You guys have no idea how amazing that feels. Thank you so much for your love and your support. I am truly grateful for each and every one of you, and I have been absolutely overwhelmed by all of the kind comments that everyone has been leaving on my video comments or on Instagram. So thank you so much. If you haven't watched my last episode, it was all about crystals and how they are used in my craft. I'll leave a card up here if you do want to check that out. And as always, my social media information is in the description box below, so be sure to go ahead and check those out. Also, like I said in my last episode, once I do reach 100 subscribers, I do plan on doing a Q&A with you guys, which I will post on my Instagram, so be sure to follow me there if you would like to participate in any of my future Q&As. And until next time, guys, the witch is out. Bye! You ready? You ready? What you doing? Why are you so curious? The boop? The boop? The boop? Today we will be talking all about our... Really? Today we will be I'm doing so well. La da da. Okay. Let's get started. Let's awkwardly get started. As usual. So, jumping right in, don't drink my tea! What do you think you're doing? The last thing you need is a caffeine rush, okay? Just, I've got dog hair on me again. Oh well. It's my life. Dog hair. Dog hair is my life. So the tools, them, what are you, you're making me nervous. Can you sit? Can you just sit and be a good boy? Hi. I love you. But sit down. Let's talk about magical tools. I know that it's something you're not interested in, but I can't get this right. Um, 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 ah, um, 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 so I'll just, how do I even say this? Wow, I'm doing so good. Will you quit biting my wand? That is not okay. Don't bite my wand. Can you not? Yeah. Magical tools, arson, yeah, we're not going anywhere with that. Nope, cut.